You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast,
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 267. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord, not by the Nintendo aficionado and an artist extraordinaire, Roshan Warner. He will return. But I am joined by the host of Large Popcorn and video producer at The Gamer, Christian Macias at ISO Christian.
Please don't be mean to me in the comments anymore. I can't take it.
Who's being mean to you?
Over 100 people. What are you talking about?
Oh. And the reformed Tarkov Teletubby, my fellow Spartan, Gage Dempster at Gilbo Biggins.
reporting for duty, sir.
At ease. All right. Thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is our video game mix and match. We're going to combine some dormant IP with some current video game developers and try to see what we can come up with to bring these games back to life, resurrect them. We're a little late on the Halloween theme, but, you know, resurrect these IP. All right. So into the topic of the show here. So I kind of separated into 4 categories, but if you guys want to do your own thing, that's fine as well. I'm not a strict host here. We do whatever. I put Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and then a third party category. So I was just thinking if we each came up with one for each one, that'd be cool. But if you have, you know, multiple for one and not of another, that's fine too. So I just thought this would be an interesting little exercise here. So without further ado, let's jump into it. And just for I guess, let me ask you guys, would you guys rather we do something where it has to be realistic, like, you know, a Microsoft developer can't develop a PlayStation?
No.
Okay, you want to do
whatever our hearts desire.
All right, whatever our hearts desire. All right. Well, then I will start with Naughty Dog, famed developer of PlayStation. Naughty Dog will be making... What is Naughty Dog making?
I don't know. You tell me. What do you...
I had one thought, and then I'm like, that's a dumb thought, I feel like. And now I'm like questioning myself live on the spot here. I don't know. Does someone else want to go? Because now I'm questioning myself. I don't like it, and I just said it aloud in my head.
I said it out loud in my head.
Okay, yes, I said it to myself, and then instantly regretted it.
I believe in you. I believe in you. Just say it.
All right. All right. I'm getting to it. Okay, I'm getting to it. Naughty Dog is developing a Conquer game. Is that crazy?
Sorry?
A Conquer game. Conquer.
Conquer's bad for a day. That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get on with yourself, buddy.
I should cool. What?
That would be cool, though. You know what? No, I like it. I think it would be sick because, you know, Naughty Dog has some mature themes in their games, obviously, with The Last of Us and that kind of stuff, but they've never really gotten like deep into like the raunchy type of like humor and like the really, really dark, like, I don't know. Right. Obviously, Last of Us kind of I don't know, gets up to the curb on that a little bit with some of its themes and such and violence. But Conquer, I feel like, is on another level in terms of just like raunchy, like insane things that come out of his mouth. So I feel like it would be super interesting to see them do like a comedic game as a change of pace for them.
That type of game would be way better served in the hands of something like Insomniac, who is like currently doing more of the like not raunchy, but like, do you know what I mean? Like the Ratchet and Clank.
And I don't know.
That
man.
was
Is Insomniac even capable of doing dark stuff? Like, I
Right.
mean,
let them get it. Let them get away from the Marvel shit. You know what I mean? And like just like let them loose.
See,
Give it a shot.
My other thought was Insomniac with Banjo-Kazooie because they're more friendly. Like, I don't, like Gage is saying, I don't even know if they could do a super dark game like that. I don't know.
I don't think they'd be able to execute it.
Anyone that's not Rockstar?
I don't know.
I've seen some of this Dragon Age writing.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a little rough. So actually, I think that's the best answer we've gotten. Can anyone nowadays? I don't know. I think Conquer might be. I don't know if you can make a Conquer game that is good and funny.
You can.
I don't know. I would. I don't know.
Is the first one good and funny?
It was at its time. I mean, now it wouldn't be. Everything's a product of its time, Christian.
I remember my cousin telling me that the sunflower would like flash you her boobs or something if you did something like that.
I miss that sunflower, dude.
The sunflower.
Keurig says he wants to play it.
Keurig, there you go. That's at least one copy sold.
Hell yeah.
Keurig buys everything.
Keurig says, "Did somebody say boobs?" He's in.
There we go.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I got a quick one, so I'll jump in and I'll go.
Jump in.
I want
sex.
This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna get a surprise announcement at the Game Awards. Sony has resurrected Zipper Interactive, and a new SOCOM game is on the way.
Oh,
that's what's happening.
So a studio that doesn't exist.
Studio that doesn't exist anymore. No, if we're mixing and matching,
Zipper's coming back, and they're taking over Marathon.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They're taking over Killzone.
No. I'll say. You know what? I'll say. I would maybe Naughty Dog then. Naughty Dog. This is SOCOM game. Right. You know what? In terms of like when I think of like their the things that Naughty Dog does really well, like specifically animations and animation blending, like I would love. I mean, I've talked about wanting a SOCOM game for a while now on this podcast, but like if I were to think of a developer that could do it well, it'd be so cool to have like a third-person shooter that's like slow and weighty and heavy, and your character like you sprint into cover and he slams against the wall. Like Naughty Dog does a lot of those animations really well. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. And then maybe instead of like, and like the third-person shooting, like the guns sound really great in The Last of Us Part 2, especially. They feel weighty. It's like just remove all the melee combat and maybe do like an in-depth sort of like medical system where it's like gory and like, you know, your leg gets fucked up. You got to do a bunch of like, you got to do a little mini game to fix it. I feel like they could do some cool stuff with that. That would be my pie in the sky.
Okay.
Why do you like this, dude? Why do you tease me so?
Eric's on board with that also, but SOCOM.
Let me guess, you'd buy that.
He said it would be amazing.
That gets a buy from me.
All right, Christian, what are you thinking? What are you cooking up?
The Costco guys.
The Costco.
Hard one. How about this? I'll start off easy.
Okay.
Let me scroll up real quick. What year was this? I think it was 2018. No, I'm scroll down. Hold on. Check the metadata here. July 6th, 2018? No, that's related. May 11th, 2018. Over 6 years ago. Wow. I wrote an article titled 11 remasters / sequels we'd love to see actually happen. Now, of course, this is now a popular take. So I just wanted to cite myself to say, hey, listen,
Right.
I've been saying it for a while. Team Asobi Ape Escape. I think in this day and age, if you're looking to get away from the like, what do you call it? The references to PlayStation and make it like its own thing. You can do that with Astrobot, or they've proven with the Astrobot, the Ape Escape level, that maybe they can handle something within the IP as well. And it'd be another way to show off what the DualSense can handle with all these interesting gadgets that are not just level to level, but like carry on per levels or through worlds, and have you use your tools in different unique ways.
That'd be very cool. Very cool. I mean, anything they make, I'm like, this is cool tech. Hell yeah.
But they got to have one level that pisses you off, though.
Was there one level that pissed me off?
Yes, you texted me about it. You had like beat it right before the podcast. You were like getting angry. The very last level.
Oh, I didn't get. Did I get angry? I thought I said it was just very. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I didn't think I got angry.
I don't know.
It's just challenging.
I didn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was challenging for sure.
Uh-oh.
By the way. Hey, what?
Tell me. What?
No, it's just a link to a link. Never mind. Forget about it.
Forget about it. All right. My next one. I know that this game may be in development, but we fucking don't know where the fuck it's at, so I'm not counting it. It's a dead franchise right now. It hasn't had a fucking game in 11 years. And that is Rockstar Games is going to make a Splinter Cell game.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Do they not get shit for their fucking shooting? The way like their shooting feels in their games?
Sure, but
I
mean, not to step on your toes here, Dan, but if it's like if it's an old school Splinter Cell game, then shooting isn't at the forefront of the gameplay loop.
It's their cover system, it's their stealth and their cover, right?
I think the exciting thing to me about a Rockstar Splinter Cell game would be the open world, because we've never really... Christian, get out of here. Come on.
I'm with you, Dan. I'm with you. This sounds awesome.
An open world Splinter Cell game made by the fucking experts of open world games. Abso-fucking-lutely. That sounds awesome. I would be all on board for that. I think.
Are you saying one big open world or open levels?
I'm saying I mean, it could be both,
or
right?
God of War type semi-open world.
Right. That's what I was getting at. It could be kind of a mixture of both. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be GTA except Splinter Cell. That's not what I'm saying. But
get out of the car.
But like the amount of variety that you could get from these big expansive spaces and go about it however you want to do it. Like Ubisoft's already somewhat done that in some of the games where you have a bunch of different choices and how do you approach a certain mission. But like a Rockstar level of detail added on top of that and getting an expansive look of where you want to go. And then when you make those decisions on where you want to go and how you go through the mission, it has little consequential actions that happen. We all are familiar with all the consequential actions that happen throughout, like Red Dead, for instance. When you're playing Red Dead and you're just riding along and you encounter this random encounter and you're like, oh, that was kind of cool. Like stuff like that would be super cool for Splinter Cell. Just having these encounters that you don't expect.
Almost like in a Hitman sort of way where they might affect the mission, where it's like,
no,
you find
hold on,
guards bickering, and it's like, oh, if I do this, this might help me later to get into this area.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but elevated.
That's like emergent stuff. Their mission design is pretty linear within open worlds. Like, I think you're making the case for IO, not Rockstar, to make a Splinter Cell game.
No, I don't want an IO Splinter Cell game. In my opinion, IO is great. I love the Hitman games, but those games are very, very different than Splinter Cell, in my opinion. Like, those games are much more campy, and they don't take themselves seriously. That's not the tone that I am looking for from.
You think Hitman's campy?
Absolutely.
It is a little bit. Everyone's a size 36 waist, and he can just wear anybody's clothes at any time, and he can do it in seconds.
Yeah, Hitman's
throwing people overboard. And it's like, yeah, no, that's fine. It's a little campy.
What's on
throwing a rubber ducky at somebody? An explosive rubber ducky at a target.
Yeah.
Homing briefcases. It's a little campy. I'm somebody who's put hundreds of hours into the most three.
Dog.
Yeah, that's campy as fuck.
DARPA's got that now, dude. I like it, Dan. I see what you're doing.
All right.
I see what you're cooking up.
All right. What are you cooking up? Oh, sorry.
I'm cooking up something. I think you're gonna like this one, Dan. Now, this is not. I wrote it in code here. I want to throw in a quick little honorable mention that we don't have to spend too much time on. A load?
Oh! I didn't see you guys writing it down.
I just did that because I thought of it and I wanted to. Yeah.
I was keeping track, and then Gage added his. Yeah.
Okay, my quick honorable mention, and I don't think we talked about this on the podcast. I think you and I talked about this privately, Dan. That there's rumors that Rockstar is going to do a medieval game.
Oh yeah.
I think Rockstar is one of the only developers that could do a Game of Thrones game.
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be so fucking sick. I would just love a dark and dreary, miserable, low fantasy medieval game with their awesome horse tech. I would love just trotting around the open fields and going from landmark to landmark in the show. That would be very cool. We don't have to spend time on that though, because that's probably never going to happen. But if there's anybody that could do a Game of Thrones game at the quality of the show, or at least the quality of the show when it was in its peak, I feel like Rockstar is the team for that. But if we're talking about existing games and developer combinations, I got one cooking up right here. Ripple Effect, formerly known as Dice LA, uses all of their expertise that they have with Levolution, and they make a Mercenaries reboot.
Oh, yes.
Double A, mid to high budget Mercenaries game. Now, like your Conquer game, Dan, I actually don't think this game can be made nowadays. I love Mercenaries too, but that game involves you playing as a private military contractor where you can level any residential building you want in a war-torn Bolivia. I don't think you can make that game anymore nowadays, but if we're doing pie in the sky, what would I dream for? I would love another third-person Mercenaries GTA clone where it's like, hey, how about instead of trying to make everything super immersive, it's call in a attack helicopter anytime you want and fucking level all these buildings and to get to your targets. I think Ripple Effect could have a lot of fun with a Mercenaries type game.
Dude, I love Mercenaries.
I know. I love it too, man. It's so good.
Rashawn, what's you thinking?
I have another boring one before I get into the crazier ones, or more radical ones.
Cool.
Kojima Productions, Silent Hill. They're just back. They're just redoing PT. They're just redoing PT.
Oh my god.
There you go.
That's the least far-fetched one, but of all the ones that we've suggested today, I think that I would want that one the most.
And they already have relations with Guillermo and everybody else in that. They got the license from Konami. They're just doing it.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Should we? No.
What? What are you thinking?
Should I give you a third just to be crazy?
Yeah.
Do it.
It was a third. Sure.
You want a shooter or something else?
Just give us that third that you're thinking about right now.
All right, I'll just go down my list. Playground games.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys won't know this one, so I won't say it. I made it a separate option just in case you guys didn't know this game. So I'll do with the safe option. Playground Games does a Need for Speed Underground game.
Oh, hell yeah.
That would be cool. What's the non-safe option? I'm just curious.
It was Roll Cage. You guys probably don't know Roll Cage.
No, I don't know what Roll Cage is.
Yeah. It's a PS1 racer where like if you land on your bottom, the car still goes. Like it's either way works. It's like a Mario Kart with but there's races with like futuristic tracks, and there's also like stages where you have to like not fall off the stage and do like stunts and stuff.
Wow.
Or how about this? I have a third one. Playground Games, Stuntman. Remember that game?
Yes.
Go off the ramp.
Make a left.
Yeah. Make a left. Yeah.
God, that's crazy you bring that up. I booted that up and I showed Glenn that game like a couple of months ago when he was down, and he's like, "I've never played this game before. This is awesome."
Dude, it's so fucking fun.
I think I have Ignition. That's the second one. But yeah, no, so that's awesome. Yeah, pop a wheelie in between the cars.
Yeah. Dan, have you not played Stuntman?
I've never played it. Games? Never played it.
Next time we're in Kentucky, we're all playing Stuntman.
Stunt.
I think Ignition's the one I played too. I can't remember.
It had like the track builder that you could do where you could build your own.
Yeah. God.
That's a great playground doing Stuntman, dude. That's jumped to the top of my list. That's amazing. What a great idea. All right, Dan, you're up.
Speaking of great ideas, we talked about. Well, yeah. We talked about Insomniac earlier, but I think there's another IP that makes sense for Insomniac. And that
Sunset Overdrive
that would be good. Yeah, just bring back Sunset Overdrive. No, Star Fox, a proper Star Fox game from Insomniac game. I feel like that would suit them very well. Why are you giving me that look? What is that look for? No, a proper Star Fox game, not Star Fox 64, like, not that. I'm thinking like Star Fox Adventure. I fucking love Star Fox.
We're in the minority, Dan.
I know.
We are in the minority there.
I know. But that's the style game I'm thinking of with Insomniac building it. I feel like that would be really, really fun. I don't know. Some cool mechanics with Fox. Let's go back to the dinosaur planet. You know, that was fun.
They'd fit the writing for sure. Ginky. Are we spying on the New York citizens, Ginky?
Are you sure we have permission to do that?
There's an opt-in feature.
It's like, hey, Kingpin's gonna blow up this building. We need to hack into the security to stop him. Are you sure that we can do that legally?
You guys are stupid. Gage, what else you got? Tough. There's a lot of options. You know?
That's the problem. It's like the kid in the candy store thing where it's like any developer. Go ahead.
Are you just thinking, or do you already have something in mind?
I'm thinking if you have something in mind, go ahead.
Yeah. So all right, I have two for Arrowhead. I have one that's just like the dumb option that just to make Dan angry, and then I have the real option. So let's go for the first one first.
Well, wait a minute. Before you say it, this is supposed to be Dormant franchises.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, Dormant. Okay. Well, then this one's just to make you mad then. All right. Halo Studios. Goodbye. Arrowhead is now making the next Halo game.
Stupid.
The real answer is Arrowhead takes over the Killzone franchise, and they do some kind of multiplayer game.
Ooh.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Go crazy.
I like that idea.
Do whatever.
Do they remain independent? Do they keep their freedom?
Whatever. I don't know. You tell me. No, the answer. No. They get acquired.
They become a slave to the corporate empire.
They have to. Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
And then the game doesn't do well, and then there's layoffs. But you get into the Killzone, so.
We get into the Killzone.
It's a real
That's a monkey
paw
paw right there.
Yep.
Gage, did you think of which one you want?
It's tough, man. I'm having a tough time here. I'm
gonna scrape the bottom of the barrel, the wasted barrel.
Just waste a barrel.
Are you saying something? You got something?
Oh no, but I'm thinking about Battlefield 3 Metro.
Battlefield 3 Metro, the map.
The Metro map. Yeah, that's a cool map.
Okay.
I just miss Battlefield 3.
For a second there, I thought you were saying let's merge the Metro franchise with Battlefield, and I was like, "Oh, that actually sounds interesting."
Maybe, but no. Dormant franchises, he says.
I have my last one. If you want me to say my last one, okay.
Please save me. Yeah.
My last one, which is PlayStation. I'm thinking we bring back the Resistance franchise, which is famously made by Insomniac.
Right.
Those games aren't really that popular, Like, I feel like they kind of had cult followings. Like, they weren't that big. What's a good first-person shooter developer that's made numerous first-person games and have done very well, despite them having recent turmoils? Bungie making a Resistance game. Boom.
Are we assuming that this is just a tried and true single player Resistance game with maybe a multiplayer arena option?
Yes.
You don't have to worry about any live service garbage or anything like that. If you put Bungie in a focused setting, I'm curious to see if they could really tap into what made them special. If they're like, stop all the bullshit. Just don't worry about fucking silver and all this nonsense and storefronts and currencies. Just make a game. Yeah. I wonder if they could reignite that sort of special sauce they used to dole out to everyone.
And the thing is you say used to. Personally, I think that their gameplay is still top tier, regardless of, all the other shit that happens with their games.
Right.
The moment-to-moment gameplay is what makes Bungie games so good. Halo, Destiny, Marathon back in the day. Those games are just, they have the sauce in the moment-to-moment gameplay. And I think that's something that maybe Resistance could have added that didn't necessarily have with Insomnia. I don't know. Did you think of any others, Gage?
I'm just gonna throw something out at this point.
Throw it out.
Just to hit my quota. I'm gonna say they changed the name. The Coalition.
Okay. Yeah.
This is really bottom of the wasted barrel. But the Coalition makes a ultra violent, ultra gory Dead to Rights game.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
You and your puppers in a sci-fi city doing door calls. Something happens. There's a drug kingpin, and you knock on the wrong door, and next thing you know, you're in the thick of it. It's Max Payne-esque, but mostly it's just a fucking combat-focused, sicking your dog on people, fucking stomping heads.
Dude.
The last Dead to Rights game I can remember was what? Late 2000s, maybe early 2010s.
Yes, Retribution.
Not well received.
Retribution.
Right,
yeah. I played it.
So I think that qualifies as Dormant.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Those games were so good. I love those games. Even though that one was bad, I still played it. just the memories of that game.
And it's a waste. It's a great name for branding. Like, it's wasted just sitting there. So I feel like, yeah, you give that to a studio like Coalition that, again, similar to my Ripple Effect thing, small AA game, doesn't have to be huge. 10 hours in there, stomping heads, out, done.
How did I just think of this?
Tell me.
Say it.
I fucked up. You know what? I fucked up earlier on my Rockstar thing. You know?
Oh, I know.
I still stand by it, but I just thought of something even better. Rockstar Games makes a new true crime game. That
is better.
Go. I love those games as well.
Where's it
back
set?
in the day.
Where's it set?
True Crime, Streets of Chicago.
Streets of Kentucky.
Suburbs of Kentucky.
God.
What's wrong, Dan?
Or Streets of Cincinnati, right next to me. True crime.
Chicago's better, I think, if you're doing crime. If you're doing a crime game, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
What have they done? They've had LA and they've had Shanghai, or
New York. They had Streets of New York and Streets of LA. I don't remember Shanghai. Yeah.
I thought they did a spin-off, but no, you're right. I think that sounds
They
right.
did, yes, correct. That was supposed to be a true crime game, but it
turned into Sleeping Dogs.
The Sleeping Dogs.
Right,
yes.
right. Okay.
It was originally a true crime game. Yes, that is correct.
Rockstar would crush that.
And Sleeping Dogs. Oh, that was so good too.
Sleeping Dogs was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Christian said earlier, Rockstar really does, if they want to do games other than just the GTA Red Dead format, they do need to tighten up some of their mechanics. Specifically their open world mission design and their shooting. But like the driving, the open world level design, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The writing, the story, that stuff they've got nailed down. So that would be cool.
That would be. Christian, before you go, Eric says, what about Microsoft brings back brute force? Okay, but who's gonna develop it, Kirik? You figure out who's gonna develop it while Christian's doing.
What was brute force?
That was like that 4-player co-op game on 360, I believe. Maybe original Xbox. Original Xbox or 360. It was like a co-op game. You had like one character was like a lizard creature, and like there was yeah.
Now does this have to be mix and match?
What do you mean?
Rules?
What do you mean?
We have to have a different developer take over a Dormant franchise?
So like you're saying the original developer is bringing back a Dormant franchise?
Yeah, because I have two for like original developers.
Just saying.
Well, the first was a Platinum Games as a Metal Gear Rising sequel, but if I'm being real, something more fun would be Valve. The developers that did Half-Life Alyx do a Portal 3 VR.
Oh hell yeah! See, I feel like that's fair.
Vomit.
Yeah,
and we'd all vomit, but it'd be fun.
We would, yeah.
That would be sick though.
Imagine.
Where the fuck are you at, Valve?
It is kind of interesting how all of Valve's IP just naturally lend themselves well to VR. I'm thinking of like the first time you ever fucked around with the portals to make something kind of like infinitely go, and it's like doing that same kind of nonsense in VR, right? It would be awesome, but you're right. It would be exactly. It would be vomit inducing for sure.
That'd be awesome, dude.
It would be great.
You know what? Great idea. You know what also naturally fits Valve games? A fucking third game. So all their fucking games.
Any of them.
Half-Life Alyx is the third game.
I guess.
Yeah. We should all play that. I know Gage has for a little bit, but
yeah.
It's good. It's very good.
Here came back with the developer name. He says Massive Games bringing back Force. They've got some squad-based, experience with the Division. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
How about this? The guys that did Sifu, Slow Clap, take over either a Prince of Persia or a Batman game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
big points for both of those on the board, I think.
It's a little mix and matchy.
That'd be kind of cool.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mix and match your rules of the mix and match. How about Massive releases what originally was the Division, and that's the.
Oh, dude, please.
It's so funny how they were not confident in it because that was going to be the extraction shooter that would have kicked off that genre. They would have been there first if Ubisoft, if these fucking Frenchies weren't so concerned with just following market trends and actually had some balls. Oh man, I sometimes think about that original E3 demo. And
isn't it so good, dude?
Man, they have no idea that they were so close to being first on that genre.
Facts, dude.
Remember everyone getting on board with second screen experiences back then? The Division.
Yeah, download the Division app and have your PDA open while you play the game.
Yeah.
My dad is calling me, so my camera froze.
Oh.
But while that's happening, I mean, just sticking with Gage's idea, Naughty Dog releases The Last of Us Online.
Oh,
the canceled Last of Us Online. Come on.
Go.
What are we doing?
I think about this game so much that honestly, this is like one of my 3 genie wishes. If a genie were to show up tomorrow, I would have to really think on the other 2 because the third one right now is okay. The Last of Us Online came out and was well received.
Jesus.
Good idea.
That's one of your genie wishes.
My shit is so delayed. It's awesome. Like,
you've already sat back down, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's incredible. Eric says, or make a John Wick game from scratch. That's interesting.
Ooh.
John Wick from who? From
the Slow Clap guys?
I was gonna say, yeah, Slow Clap.
That's what he said, actually, Slow Clap. He literally said Slow Clap.
You're cooking today.
He'd buy that.
By the way, who's the Slow Clap? What do they make?
Sifu and Absolver.
Okay. That'd be cool.
Absolver is a game I always meant to buy. I really like the art style on that.
It's fun as fuck, dude. It's co-op.
Is it good? We need to finish a game first.
Oh, all right. Are there any other ones you guys want to cover before we move on?
I mean, if we're going off the rules or going off the rails and totally just disregarding the rules that you had laid out before,
go for it.
Pandemic comes back and makes either a Battlefront game or a Mercenaries game. I just want Pandemic back. I want their design philosophy in games back.
Yeah.
They come back and Microsoft says, "Here you go. Here's a modest $75 million. Make something." And Microsoft, Matt Booty doesn't fucking come to the office. There's a picture of Matt Booty on the wall and he's not allowed in the building. Phil Spencer leaves the fuck alone, and they make a little game. That's what I want.
While we're
I
at
misunderstood what you meant by pandemic, by the way.
Oh,
I was like, hell yeah, we're going back to lockdown.
You meant the wrath of God. Okay, gotcha.
If we're bringing Pandemic back, just fucking bring Visceral Games back too. You know, all the studios EA killed.
Yeah.
Eric wants to know how you're tearing the fabric of space-time, Christian.
With the power of the PS5 Pro.
This is what 33 teraflops looks like, Eric.
And with that being said, we're moving into the news of the week, which first up here is the PS5 Pro. And I put a little note in here. How are we feeling about this, guys? Yeah. Digital Foundry did a little deep dive discussion about it, and one of the quotes here from their video: "Ray tracing is lowest than low PC setting. It isn't what I expected from the PS5 Pro, but it is what it is." So obviously they're essentially saying they wouldn't upgrade to the PS5 Pro unless you were an enthusiast that really loves those performance modes and wants, a bit more fidelity out of those performance modes. So are we happy with where the PS5 Pro is? Where, I don't know. Are we interested?
You have to also take the rest of what Digital Foundry is saying into context as well, because although that is disappointing, they also checked out Horizon Forbidden West, the remaster, and their benchmark tests. It has the best image quality ever on a console game. It's like playing on a high-end PC with everything thrown at it, but for a cheaper price. So it is like legitimately case by case basis, because some games are running worse on PS5 Pro with the Pro enhancements than they would have like on like even a PS4 console. That's Elden Ring. Elden Ring can run 60 FPS on a PS5, but you're playing the PS4 version. But you turn on PS5 Pro settings and it's like you're struggling to hit 45 frames per second.
Oh wow!
With the additional stuff on, right? Your ray tracing on and what have you. So it literally is case by case. To answer your question though, how are we feeling about it? The same as every other reviewer. I don't need it. I've seen a video of Spider-Man swinging around the city. I was like, wow, that's nice. Not $700 nice.
I think to Christian's point, so you're saying like, okay, some of the stuff is really bad, but you have to take it by a case basis because some of the stuff is really good. I'm saying for a pro model of a PS5, there should be no case by case basis. Every game should run better. So
right.
that in and of itself makes me say it's definitely not for me, and I don't know if it's for the average consumer, even the average like gamer consumer. I don't know if you go so far as to say enthusiast, but yeah, I don't know. I'm very disappointed with the performance here on and how it's just like you said, it's case by case, but it really shouldn't be. Every game should play better on the PS5 Pro, and that's not currently the case.
And also remember, it like Kirik points out in the chat, it doesn't come with a disk drive. It doesn't come with a vertical stand. It doesn't come with, which is kind of crazy because the original PS5 did come with a stand and had the option of a disk drive, of course.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel very similarly to you guys. It does not make sense for me to get this. In fact, I think that this is actually even less exciting to me than the PS4 Pro, and I didn't get the PS4 Pro because I didn't feel like it was necessary. So, I
do think next year we're gonna have completely different conversations. Maybe we'll have different conversations about this once we see what like new games that utilize it are gonna be looking like. Whatever Santa Monica is cooking, whatever Naughty Dog is cooking, and then I'm sure Death Stranding 2 will make these games look probably significantly better than the standard. And then you have like a case of like, okay, now I see the difference between a normal PS5 and the Pro, and that might be more enticing. But like again, right in this moment, for sure, there's nothing that makes me want to spend money on this fucking console.
And that's totally fair. That probably in many of these cases, developers probably aren't going back and retooling a bunch of stuff for the PS5 Pro. So it does make more sense that newer games would be optimized, for this console. So we shall see. We shall see. All right.
What is the first game you think that would convince you to get a PS5 Pro? Not actually do it, but like make you think twice about your standard console. Is there a developer that can do that for you?
Probably the next Naughty Dog game, whatever that ends up being, whether it's Last of Us or their space game, I would say.
Right.
I almost bought a PS4 Pro for The Last of Us Part 2. But at that point, it was like the new console's coming at the end of the year or whatever. I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Timing would be important, and then also specific specs. So if the next Naughty Dog game was like, hey, our game's coming out, it's incredible, it pushes boundaries, it runs at 30 at the PS5 and it runs on 60 on the PS6, like that type of thing, where it'd be like, that's a substantial difference. I need to play this at 60.
PS6.
PS6 or PS5 Pro?
Whatever. Well, by the time their game comes out, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Right, like,
yeah.
You can say PS5 Pro for the sake of the argument, but I don't know if the timing's gonna line up.
Right.
That's funny. You're right.
When do we think that game's gonna? Oh, that's another conversation. I don't know.
That's a whole other tots, dude.
You know what?
Yeah, I know.
When the fuck? Ghost of Utah is is next year too, right?
Yes.
2025 on the calendar.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that game runs.
For sure. Would that be the first game released natively on PS5
I guess that we know of. Yeah, because they didn't announce anything for early, huh? Fuck, you think you're right?
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Crazy.
Sony Santa Monica sci-fi game Shadow drops in the spring. You heard it here first.
That would be sick, though. All right. Let's move into our other news of the week item, guys. How should Nintendo handle backwards compatibility? This question is on the back of an announcement that Nintendo put out, or a statement, I should say, yesterday. Of course, you know, the election happening, they were putting out a statement about the no, I'm just kidding. They weren't. They said, this is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to the Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with the Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. That is a lot of Nintendo Switches in that statement. But I thought that was interesting and kind of brought up a good question of how is Nintendo handling compatibility? What happened, Christian?
Is he telling you to stop?
Yeah. They love their proper nouns, man.
Oh, yeah. Yes. The Nintendo Switch, in case you didn't know what we were talking about. Let's say it 7 times. No, I thought...
Do it? You're asking?
What's that?
You're asking how is it going to work?
No, I'm just like how do we think they're going to handle it? Because like we don't know yet, but we suspect that they're still going to use cartridges just like the Nintendo Switch. But if, let's just say theoretically they don't do cartridges and he's saying that it's backwards compatible, what are the chances that they somehow come up with a way to allow you to play those games without needing the cartridge? Does that make sense?
I don't know how that would work. I mean, it does make sense. Okay. They could do that, but it's Nintendo, so they won't because they love doing things the fucking hard way. If they don't do cartridges and they do something else, I think they would go the Nintendo DS route where you would have 2 ports. One for the DS game, on the bottom was the Game Boy Advance swap.
I didn't realize that. Interesting.
That makes the most sense. I was gonna throw something. I don't have as much experience with the Nintendo realm as you guys do, so I would just be spitballing, and I would say like maybe there's a cartridge spot on the dock, and it's like, hey, plug your dock your Nintendo Switch, put your cartridge. There's only a slot on the dock, and then it'll transfer it over to like download the game onto your Nintendo thing, and then say there's like a disc slot or whatever the new format is on the actual Switch itself.
Interesting. I was before you guys came up with way better ideas, because before you guys said that, I was thinking like some kind of a adapter you have to buy and then plug into your Switch and then download it from the cartridge to the console digitally, and then it like somehow invalidates the license of the cartridge. I don't know. I was thinking up some crazy shit, but what you guys said makes way more sense.
I don't know. Companies love selling adapters, dude. They love adapters.
But you know what they also love more than that is reselling you the games.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. It's exciting. We're getting closer to this being revealed, but I think somebody. I was just gonna say, I think somebody predicted that they were gonna announce it next year. I think someone on this podcast predicted that.
I don't remember. I'm assuming you're meaning your
voice. I'm assuming you mean Christian. Yeah.
I did see the Nintendo shares were dropping recently. I think by like 3%. Because they just hadn't announced it yet, and software sales are just finally starting to decline a little bit. Hardware sales.
That makes sense. So they're trying to ease their investors a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens very soon.
We shall see.
All right. Moving into the quick bites, guys. Arcane Austin's former founder has called out Microsoft in an interview with PC Gamer. Arcane Studios founder and current head of Wolfeye Studios, Rafael Colantonio, was asked about the move. I that up. Colantonio, who left Arcane in 2017, founded Wolfeye, and he had some thoughts to share. I think if you look a little bit, it's obvious that Arcane Austin was a very special group of people that have made some cool things and that could pull it off again. He said, "What the frick did you just do, IGN? What the heck?" It just freaked out. My article just like freaked out there. Sorry. I think it was a decision that just came down to we need to cut something. Was it to please the investors, the stock market? They're playing a different game. The rules that they play, we might not understand them. It's a different thing. It's hard to know why they did what they did. The only thing I stand by is saying that the specific choice of killing Arcane Austin, that was not a good decision. Thought this was a funny statement and very pointed at Microsoft. So it was very, very funny to see this.
As it should be, dude. Criticize companies.
Sure.
Nakey Jakey did it.
It's true. Did a whole video on it.
Bro did not like Windows Vista.
It was Vista. That was a good platform. Vista.
All right.
Wasn't it?
Enough. Just move on.
Wait, was Vista the bad one? I don't remember.
So many of them are bad. It's hard to
No,
keep track
sorry.
of which ones are
XP
good.
was good. Vista was bad. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah. Although
right.
I do agree though that the search does. I don't know how the search keeps getting worse.
Searching for things on the Microsoft Store?
When I hit the Windows key to search something on my PC, why am I getting fucking Bing results before anything else?
Right.
Fair. All right. We've got some bright news here, despite some guys that were criticizing the writing earlier. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, has some very massive early success that we're seeing. Dragon Age, the Veilguard is currently the #1 top seller on Steam worldwide, knocking off Call of Duty. It had the biggest Steam launch ever for BioWare with 68,000 concurrent players, and is the biggest single-player game ever for EA, passing up Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So, seemingly BioWare's back? Question mark?
I mean, good for them. I don't think I've seen enough clips to determine I don't think I'll like this game. And that's judging based on the writing, and then what Skillup said about the lack of meaningful dialogue choices, and little to no impact on how like character relationships after you make said choices. Like, okay, this one's a skip for me, but shout out to their success. Okay. Oh, my dad is calling me again.
Oh no.
I'll call him back later.
Are you sure you can answer that and leave for a minute to answer?
All right, it's all right.
Might be important.
I'll be right back.
All right. Well, this is a perfect time for Christian to step away, Gage, because the next quick bite is Halo Forge props are coming to Forza Horizon 5 with the largest prop pack ever for Event Lab. And also on the back of this, I also threw in here that NASCAR was announced to be coming to Forza Motorsport as well, but I don't really care about that. Shout out to Michael Shore, who's the Forge lead for Halo Infinite, because that dude is fucking just killing it with his Forge team. They're pretty much keeping Infinite alive by himself. Or their team is, anyways, I should say. And they basically just passed a bunch of their assets from Forge, from Infinite, to Playground Games to import into Event Lab. So this is very cool that people can basically make their own Forza Horizon 5 maps with Halo props now. Very cool.
Very cool. The support for Forza Horizon 5 post-launch has been very good. I need the next Forza Horizon game to have lots of new vehicles, because it's running into that same problem that a lot of these race games run into, which is that they just use the same licensed vehicles over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right. Every year it's like, oh, we've got 400 cars this year. Then this year it's like, or the next game it's like, we've got 500 cars this year. It's like, right, but 400 of those 500 cars are the same ones. Right. So I would love for them to really take a chance. I know, like, again, the licensing, there's probably red tape that I'm not aware of, but I would love for them to try and just like different years, just experiment with like the different types of cars that you're putting in there, so it really feels fresh for the next one. Because I really liked the bones and the base experience of Forza Horizon 5, but I just need a little something more.
For sure. Or like, hear me out. Like, what if they did something like Forza Horizon something, like Forza Horizon Jubilee? I don't know. I'm just making up shit. And did like an offshoot of the Horizon brand. I know that sounds crazy because Horizon's already an offshoot, but like an offshoot of Horizon where they can just build whatever cars they want that are like made up vehicles. They're not
like the GTA kind of way where it's like, this looks similar to something that exists, but it's actually its own thing. Yeah. That would be cool too. So I like that idea. Or going back to what Christian said, what I would actually like alternatively, and it's actually the antithesis of what I just said, so it's kind of a little bit of a contrarian thing to say, but I would also not mind a Forza Horizon game that comes out and there's 200 cars instead of 500, but those 200 cars can be customized much further, because that's another area that Forza also lacks. Again, because of the licensing, lots of car companies, especially like Ferrari and the high-end ones, they don't want all these weird, they want it to look exactly as it looks in real life, and that's that. But Christian mentioned earlier about Playground doing a Need for Speed game. Need for Speed's always been awesome with this customization.
For sure.
You pick a car, it's like, here's 8 different bumpers you can put on it, and here's 8 different fenders. So I think a Forza Horizon game like that could also be cool. But I do like your idea too as well, where it's like, here's completely unique cars that are kind of real but kind of not, and we can mess with them how we want to. I would be cool with that too, I think.
Or maybe they just do a different offshoot of Forza instead of making it a Horizon offshoot. Just do like Forza something else. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Get on it, Playground. I know you're working on Fable, but all right. The next quick bite here, Gage. I know we're both extremely excited about this. Final Fantasy producer Naoki Yoshida says that Square Enix is planning to release games simultaneously on Xbox going forward. Obviously, I was being a little hyperbolic because I don't think that Square Enix games are necessarily our types of games. But this is good news for gamers that are exclusively on Xbox or PC. Them basically coming out saying we need to release everywhere at launch and not, play this game of let's play exclusive and then, sometime.
Oh, that didn't reach the sales targets that we wanted to.
Right.
Our exceptional sales goals that never get met ever. Maybe now they'll finally meet them. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean,
I agree with you though. Yeah.
How do you hit those sales goals and only release on one? I don't know. It's crazy. Remember when they said that Tomb Raider was a failure and it sold like 5 million copies? Like, what?
Right, for a third party IP like that. That's that. I don't know how that's a failure, but
and it was like that was respectable back then too. It's like Man, that's good.
5 million copies is nothing. No, like people would kill for that kind of. Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh.
Oh.
What happened?
Speaking of respectable.
Yeah. We're moving into our next respectable. I don't know. That's not even respectable. I don't even know what this is. Star Wars Outlaws has a new creative director? ? So apparently it was announced that Drew Reckner has taken over the reins from Julian Garrity, according to a new developer diary. Which obviously that's a little strange because Star Wars Outlaws is already out. Obviously we were speculating a little bit in our chat, and I was thinking maybe like if they're working on an expansion to Star Wars Outlaws, maybe the new creative director is going to have influence on that. But it's like at this point, I don't know what exactly a creative director is going to be changing on a game that's already released. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe Christian has more insight to this, but I feel like is this not a tell that Outlaws is now going to be some sort of franchise, and that because he's the creative director for Star Wars Outlaws,
right?
But does that mean that he's just the head of that studio now, and that studio is going to move forward as a franchise and have more installments? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. Yeah,
that's pretty smart. I actually didn't think about that. The way I thought about it is that is the DLC route that Dan was saying, only because like for Alan Wake DLCs or even that fourth main Uncharted game, The Lost Legacy, that originally started as DLC and then became its own standalone game, those all had different creative directors as well. So I think Dan was right about onto something there. But man, if they do franchise it and Outlaws becomes a thing, that's interesting. Although I think for me that has less legs only because it's supposedly like disappointed on release, sales wise, and I think critic wise too. But it also just released too early; like it wasn't ready to go yet. That one's maybe harder to buy, but who knows in this industry? Who knows?
Very interesting.
My camera was at 4. My phone was at 4%, so I had to switch back to webcam. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Let's see. Star Wars Outlaws. Buy it now. New creative director. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Oh, Dan.
What?
Shout out to you. Shout out to you.
What did I do?
You got me Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, technically, Papa Prindle got you Star Wars Outlaws. Technically.
And what are you? You're not Papa Prindle?
I was just about to say, is that not you?
No, that's my Papa Prindle.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa, okay.
You're a sick man, Daniel.
Everybody pump the brakes.
My father.
Something else.
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God. Let's move on.
All right, will do. You can now try Xbox's AI chatbot. Let's go.
Let's go.
Is it named Cortana?
No.
No, it killed that branding.
It's part of a larger effort inside of Microsoft to look at how AI will impact Xbox. This chatbot will handle support queries for consoles and games, as if support couldn't get worse. Here it is. And you may think, hang on, that's not all the AI stories. We're gonna just merge this in here. Netflix also announced a big AI gaming push just days after closing a studio. Of course, that Joe Staten was one of the leads on that studio. And they just announced this with a AI fueled image from this dude that's announcing that he got a new role at Netflix, VP of Gen AI for Game. Cool. We're so excited to play these fucking mindless, soulless games that probably will never come.
Yeah, I'm hoping this whole thing fizzles out, but I'm not a huge. Everything we've seen so far of AI implementation in games has been either AI stripping a game of its art style and making it look photorealistic in an awful way, or there's been a game going viral that's entirely AI and it looks like absolute nightmare fuel where it can't keep track of what's happening. And every time you turn around, the whole thing smears and turns into this amalgamation of pixels.
The game that's literally Minecraft that they said it's like, what?
That's the one, yeah.
Don't forget, Daniel, Microsoft is also working on bringing AI features to game content creation, game operation, and its Xbox platform and devices. This includes experimenting with AI-generated art and assets for games, AI game testing, and the generative AI NPCs.
Yeah. They said they are experimenting and testing, and I hope that those experiments and tests fail miserably. That's all I can say about that.
They should experiment and test with these nuts. Am I right, fellas?
Hell yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Uh-oh, somebody doesn't like this news that I added to the end here. Take-Two has reaffirmed that GTA 6 will launch in the fall of calendar 2025. And I put an editor's note here that says it's going to get pushed to 2026. It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I'm willing to make a bet.
A wager?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the wager? Yeah. What's the wager? Loser has to come to the other person's hometown and buy them Five Guys.
Or has to buy them dinner.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's expensive.
That is expensive, but I'll do it. I'll shake it. I'll shake on that if you're confident.
I'm confident.
So Dan will have to go to Canada?
Dan will have to go to Canada and get me some sort of food. And if
Can I come?
2026. Yeah. Do you want to make the bet too? Which side are you on?
It's not getting pushed, man. It's not getting pushed. I can feel it.
When's the last?
So hold on. Dan is saying it's coming out 2026?
Yes, correct. When's the last?
And Gage is saying it'll release next fall.
Correct.
I'm on Gage's side.
Let's go.
When's the last time that a Rockstar game came out when it was originally supposed to come out?
There is a huge piece of context that you're missing.
What's that? Yeah, feed me.
First of all, you are correct. You are correct, and I am aware of that.
Okay.
But Rockstar said in like 2022, before they even announced GTA 6 officially, that they're like, we are not going to announce our games sooner so that we don't do what we've done before. I can't remember the phrasing, but they said that we are going to announce it later and it's going to hit its target. And I feel like what you're saying would have already happened. They would have said GTA 6 is coming out fall of 2023, and then it wouldn't have hit that, and then it would have been like, actually it's coming out fall of 2024. And then we would have gotten to where we are now, and it would have been like, actually it's coming out fall of 2025.
Gage, let me just... I love you to death, brother. But I just did some quick fucking searches here. Grand Theft Auto 5 was announced in October or November, around that time, 2011.
Right.
2 years later, the game came out. Rockstar announced GTA 6 a year ago, roughly, and it's not supposed to come out until next fall, which is the same 2 years span. But you said that they weren't going to do that, right? I thought that they weren't going to do that.
That's what they said.
They didn't announce a release date, though.
Right. That's what they said. That's what I'm saying. I don't believe them. I don't believe them for a second.
I believe them. Rockstar, please. Please. Although if I lose, I have an excuse to go get City Barbecue again. So really, it's a win-win.
True. Yeah, that's true. It's a win-win for all involved. Christian's even winning as well. He's going to come along.
I've now got 2 huge, expensive wagers on GTA 6.
What's the other one?
I bet Guillermo, friend of the show, he and I had a bet. He's like, GTA 6 will run at 60 frames on the PS5 Pro.
Oh,
and I told him
that guy's insane.
The bet that I made him, it's $100 bet. And I was like, when GTA 6 launches, it will not be playable at 60 frames, no matter what console it's available for. You will only be able to play it in 30 frames. That's the bet we made. He thinks it's going to be 60 frames.
I thought you were going to say that he said that it was going to launch on Mac.
No. It will be exclusive. That is a Guillermo thing to say. When GTA 6 launches, it will be exclusive to Mac.
What the fuck is this? I'm not reading. That's not a quick bite. That's you just made that up.
It's news. It's news.
That's not news.
Stupid.
What the fuck is that?
Just read it.
You read it. It's your writing.
Dan wrote that Boy Kissing Simulator is now in early access at his house.
It's so dumb. Oh, Jesus. All right. Are we ready for our fantasy draft check-in?
We do, and Gage has an audible, another curveball that he's going to throw in, but I'll do that after.
Oh, okay.
Fuck does that even mean?
No. It means there's going to be another wager made on the show.
Oh my God. All right. It looks like Mario and Luigi Brothership released, but fuck, that game not so great, Christian. No, I'm just kidding. It's doing okay. It's at 79 Open Critic, so you have 9 points coming your way when this gets finalized, Christian. Congratulations.
Dude, I'll be 2 away from breaking 200 points.
That's insane. If you can get there. I don't want to brag or anything, but last year I was 4 points away.
That would put me at the highest ever. And then I still have one more game coming out, Dragon Quest 3.
That's true.
HD2D remake.
Unless someone makes a massive comeback.
I know.
No, there's no chance because fucking Konami, I almost said Kojima. Konami's fucked me because they've still not announced the release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. And it's not coming.
I told you it wasn't coming this year, man.
They said numerous times it was coming.
Never said it once. There was that one supposed leak.
I thought
it was coming in October, but it wasn't real.
I thought they actually said it. Did they not? Like one of their trailers.
No.
Oh. Well, that's my fault then. Fuck. Oh well. Can't win them all. Was there anything else? I don't think there was anything else.
Did you guys talk about Black Ops 6 last week, the review scores?
I thought we did, yes, but we can just rehash it again. It's an 83 on Open Critic with 13 points for Gage.
Minus 13 for Roe.
Yes, minus 13 for yeah, we did. Dan. Yeah, we did talk about that because I remember Roe was like, "Oh no." Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll pass Row now after that.
Huge.
But I don't think I'm going to be able to catch you unless Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and Flight Sim get fucking 95s. I don't think I have a chance.
Hey, Flight Sim, you got a chance with that one. That reviews really well.
That's true.
I'm expecting Indiana to review okay.
Well, I need it to do amazing, not okay.
I mean, it's gonna review really well.
Oh, okay.
Remember, Gage and I agree it's not gonna sell well. Fuck Indiana.
Boomer ass game.
Wow.
Gage, who are you passing?
Who am I passing?
Nobody.
Well, maybe all of you with this exclusive wager that is gonna happen.
Okay.
You know what he will get? He'll get first round pick again next year.
I should at this point I should be able to pick all 5 of mine before any of you pick anything because this is
you probably still
fucking hate. All right, fantasy this is actually compliments of Keurig. Keurig suggested this definitely, and I'm not making this up. I am making it up, but I'm not. Keurig said this. Keurig said that to make things interesting for the fantasy draft, and as you guys know, Keurig is our longest running, most consistent fan. So we got to respect what the fans want. He said that Gage gets to predict the Rotten Tomatoes score of Arcane Season 2, and if he gets it right without going over, he gets 100 points added to his fantasy critic. That's what Keurig said. So if you want to say no to Keurig, you can say that to him. I wouldn't personally, but you can if you want to.
Wait a minute.
You brought this up like 3 weeks ago, and we all shut it down.
Wait a minute. How many points did you say?
100 points.
I don't even think you'd win with 100 points.
So then what's the worry, Dan? What are you scared of?
That's what's funny. I don't think you would win with 100 points.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
Actually, Roe might lose, so I can't make that call for Roe because Roe might lose at that point because you'd instantly pass him.
I would instantly pass him.
So
I would come back because Hollow Knight Silk Song is going to shadow drop at the Game Awards and also
Waste the Barrel.
Dude,
Waste the Barrel, and also Stalker 2 is going to get 95.
That's right. If Hollow Knight gets a stealth drop and that ends up being like a 90, that'd be huge for me because Christian would get negative fucking 30 or
I would
20 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would have to stealth drop, and reviews would have to like
post
be on it. Yeah.
Right. Which it could happen. Embargoes and such.
Well, not with a stealth drop.
Well, yeah. Well, I feel like there's been situations that they like media gets like NDA'd and they have
maybe
early access.
Maybe. But even still, that's 2 weeks before the end of the year, the Game Awards. So it'd be plenty of time to get reviews in.
For sure. All right. That's our fantasy draft check-in. Let us conclude the show with what you got for me. Dan, what you got for me? There's going to be some contention in this segment. I have a feeling. I've finished the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was very fun. Now, mind you, when I say that I had a lot of fun with the Call of Duty campaign, I don't hold the Call of Duty campaign to, the same level of standard that I would play like The Last of Us or something like that. I know Christian's gonna
nor does it need to. I understand what you mean. You know what I mean? You don't have to put context to it. Absolutely. I agree with you.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Why?
Well, because like I think I said that about like movies before, and you like chastised me for it, like saying like Mario movie, for instance.
Yeah, that movie's ass.
There you go.
Mario movie's fun. Anyways,
right. Anyways, so the Black Ops 6 campaign, had a ton of fun with it. I think that there's some things that you could see that they wanted to do more with, like one of the earlier open world missions that they do in Iraq. I thought the idea seemed kind of cool to have like an open world space, but like in practice, it was kind of like monotonous because you were just basically going to, from point A to point B, pressing this button, going to the next point, fighting people, pressing. It was very just the same thing.
Sucked.
Yeah, it was very much just the same thing at each location that you were going to, and I thought it was cool, like having like the overworld map and like figuring out your plan of attack. But yes, the actual like what you were doing was kind of like lackluster. But in my opinion, I think that they take that formula and do something more interesting in a later mission where they focus more on like stealth elements. I really liked that mission, and I thought that it did a better job of like giving you this map and kind of letting you take the reins and decide what you want to do. I thought that implementation was a bit better personally. So I thought that mission I very much enjoyed. And then the big mission that I very much enjoyed, which I will talk about because we all three have played. So if you don't want to hear about any spoilers, I would recommend turning off right now because, and I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm just going to like generally talk about it.
Right.
But like, if you don't want to know anything,
I think we should for
you
that
think
for
we
that
should?
mission. Well, actually, no, you have context of the whole game. Never mind.
Wait, what?
you have the context of the full game now, so maybe never mind, because I'm not done with it yet. I'm 60% of the way done.
Okay.
Light spoilers is fine, I guess. Like if it's generic.
I'm just gonna generally talk about that mission. I'm not gonna like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, like very much, I was caught off guard by that mission because like I was very much in the monotony of playing a Call of Duty campaign where it was just like, you know, cool events, scripted events happening and all of this and the usual. And obviously the writing, Gage and I were talking about this one day off air. The writing in like the moments where you're meeting up with your teammates and stuff like that is very like generic and not great. But like the actual mission you go on here, you're on a solo mission and you're going into a space that I found very interesting because there were essentially 4 segmented areas that you went around to. And these 4 segmented areas I felt like had very distinctive feels to them. Like they each had their own interesting challenges. Like when you're playing the mission, I'm trying to not spoil the missions because
we should.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
But like I enjoyed how each of the 4 of them had their own unique twist on the overarching thing going on in this mission. And like I loved that very much that they leaned into more of a like horror-esque type of feeling. It's not a fucking, you know, Dead Space game. I know that, but like it very much leaned into that like tense atmosphere. Like the one mission where you're walking through an area and you hear footsteps behind you and you're like, what the fuck is that? And you turn around and no one's moving. You're like, okay, the fuck's going on? And then you turn your head again and they're walking some more, and like that kind of shit was really cool, I thought, and created like a really tense moment for that mission specifically. So very much enjoyed the Black Ops 6 campaign. Do you guys want to talk about the Black Ops 6 campaign before I say?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think it's worth spoiling it only because the game's been out for almost 2 weeks now. I think most people have played the campaign.
1 week, right?
Past that mission.
It's only been 1 week.
Only 1 week, right? Or
I think.
Or maybe are we wrong?
All right. It's 1 week. Not even 1 week. All right, I won't say what it is. I have issues with that mission on like a thematic front. Like it feels like they riffed on an idea, but it doesn't really feel congruent with what we've played from that game so far. But you are right in that the mission structure of it is probably the best execution of that. I wouldn't call it open world, but like more open concept level design. That's them doing it the best in that. And the more horror inspired stuff, a little bit of the backtracking, some of the presentation in that is probably the best in that mission for sure. I would agree with you there 100%. I actually have issues with the rest of the campaign, like the other part, the more open world style stuff where like you're given the TAC map, and you know that Iraq mission is definitely one that like was such a pain point for me.
Yeah.
But even the other ones, though, are a lot more open concept. Some of it is like really tight, and like you have an objective to like, all right, you want to go inside this building and up the ladder to get like a view of the yacht. And so you kind of have free reign to how you're gonna like. Do you swim underneath? Do you go over the little bridge and like through like the boxes, whatever? Or the other mission with like, you know, you go to an event in DC and like you have a little bit of open structure. Like, how are you going to talk to this senator? You have different avenues. Like the pitches are good, but I think when I think of like a strong Call of Duty campaign with like compelling characters and like meaningful set pieces, I think for me, the ones that are more on rails lead to like tighter campaign experiences. Yep. The more they try to like, shoehorn isn't the right word, but the more they try to expand by doing different things, I think the less you get the more you get away from what I think is like the real core of like Call of Duty, which is like pulpy action style campaign. I get what they're doing, but like it just does not work. Like there's an article by Rock Paper Shotgun is like they're doing stuff that like is interesting for a Call of Duty campaign, but like other games are doing it better, like Hitman, Metal Gear Solid 5, Prey to an extent with that emergence mission. To the point where like when I am getting character interactions, it's all happening back at the hub area, and it's just like dialogue, and I have like a dialogue tree maybe where I can like talk to them a bit more to like find out more, but none of it is happening like in the actual campaign missions. And then when I'm in the campaign mission, it's like, all right, you don't get to do like some kind of tight set piece actions like sequence. It's like drive to these fucking like 15 different things in this like barren area. And like, dude, this is like killing pacing. I'm like, this isn't fun for me.
Yeah.
Right. I agree also with Iraq specifically, because you're going back to that one spot that dude's just standing at, and that's your only interaction with. Yeah.
Right. You're saying that there's a mission that does it better though, that's more stealth, right? Right? You're saying that there's one that's a bit more stealth approach with.
Well, I think I can't remember where that's at in the campaign, so I don't want to say.
That's fine.
I can't remember.
No, I mean, and like they've done that before. I think the Modern Warfare 2 campaign had a bit more like open mission design approach, like toward the end of the game, where like it's open concept, you're stealth. I think Price is watching over you, and you're like, I think you're Gaz or something, and you're going into these areas, and like you have free reign to, you know what I mean? Remember those missions?
It's not to that extent, yeah.
And those were okay, but like they were the exception, where most of the game is on rails, and like, okay, so now you have freedom to like do a bigger level, and like it works in that case. But for Black Ops 6, is like every mission is big, takes like an hour to complete, and then you go back to a hub area and you have to talk. You don't have to talk to everyone, but I like to, because I want to, get the most out of this campaign. It just kills pacing left and right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The difference with the Modern Warfare 2 example that you brought up is that those open missions were the break of the pacing, as opposed they were the exception, like you said, the exception to the rule as opposed to the rule, right? So when you're going from this Michael Bay thrill ride every mission, like for 2-3 missions in a row, and then you get this open sort of stealth mission, it's the complete opposite of how it feels in Black Ops 6. I completed the emergence mission, which is the big mission that Dan was praising. I also want to give them kudos too, because you have to I try to think of what it's like at the studio, and I have a feeling that nowadays they probably have to fight tooth and nail for budgets for the campaign. Like I feel like the if I had to guess, the C-suite probably wants to put no money in the campaign. They probably want everything to just go to Warzone and to the multiplayer. They're probably not even a huge fan of them doing zombies, to be completely honest, right? They want people to be competitive. They want players grinding for skins and camos and all this stuff, and they want unlockables in Warzone. So I think the distinction between the concept and the execution is the big thing. Treyarch is doing a really great job showing that they have a lot of interesting concepts. Their execution has not been stellar. I really enjoyed the emergence mission. Dan was actually on Discord with me, watching me. I was streaming it for him, and he was getting giddy, and he got to laugh as I fucking screamed and jumped with all the jump scares. I really like the emergence mission.
Dan, you were watching him play it for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because he kept hyping up the mission, and I was like, Dan, I think I'm at this mission. And he was about to go to bed, but he's like, actually, you know what? Stream it for me. And he stayed up for like another hour and a half while I fumbled my way through that. The problem that I have, so I completed this emergence mission. What I was getting at with my main point, I don't think I'm going to keep playing the campaign, because I realized that when I was playing this emergence mission and I was having fun with it, I was like, I don't even really know and or care what's actually happening in the grand story, in the overarching story.
Sure.
I don't know what's going on. I will say it is refreshing, and I hope that they continue to do this. It is very refreshing to have a game that takes place in real world locations with real world historical touchstones, as opposed to some stupid like, oh, here's a Urzikstan or Kazakhstan that's a generic made up Arab nation, right? Which is plagued the last 2 Modern Warfare games, maybe 3. I didn't play the campaign for 3, but it's very cool to have a mission where it's a set piece, even though it's a generic action set piece. It's like, oh, you're storming Saddam Hussein's mansion. That's kind of cool. Like I thought, I felt more connected to the story, just because it's like, oh, I know of these places that we're going to. But yeah, the concept and the execution, there's quite a big gap between those two things. The concept's great, execution not so much. And then I feel like it has to be said because some people who are criticizing Dragon Age there's been a huge kick up for it, but the character writing, I'm not gonna make a statement in games as general, but I do feel like it's a pattern that's arising. But in Call of Duty specifically, the character writing is exceptionally bad. Dan said that wasn't clicking with you. You didn't think it was great. I think it's exceptionally bad. These are not characters that feel like they are written as tier 1 operators or as CIA agents. It feels like these are characters that are written to be speaking to a gamer, to be speaking to an audience member, as opposed to be speaking to each other as they would if they were military operators. I actually got a hint of that in Modern Warfare 2, but I think I was talking to Dan off podcast that in the older Modern Warfare games, the way they talked to each other and the slang they used, they didn't expect you to know it. It felt like they sat down, they talked to special operations people, and they always claim that they do that, and I'm sure they do. And they just kind of say, "Hey, what's the jargon that you guys use? How do you guys talk?" And they write it into the game, and whether you get it or you don't doesn't matter because that's how these characters talk. Whereas nowadays with Black Ops 6 especially, I really noticed it where there's that saying going around where it's like it feels like they wrote it with HR standing over their shoulder. There's a lot of stuff like that in this game where people like I'm taking out people left, right, and center with headshots, and he's going, "You're really great with that sniper. Wow, excellent shot." And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is this, like, toxic positivity in a Cold War game? Like, what? I don't know. It took me out of it. So I don't know that I will finish the Black Ops 6 campaign. I don't know that I will. Dude, I'm not connected to it at all. I don't care about these characters.
I don't care about anyone, man. And I think that's what's keeping me from enjoying the campaign the most of all, is that, like, how do I put this? There's nothing meaningful that they're like interacting like in a mission, right? There's like no character moments happening in a mission. If there are, like it's like kind of quippy. It's like one character's doing a quip, and like that's not a character moment. That's just like someone trying to write in a joke or whatever, and then they continue in like in the HQ area, and it makes me miss some of the camaraderie of like the earlier Black Ops campaigns, because at least then, like even if I don't fully grasp, like if I miss something and I'm not like I'm missing a little bit something in the story, I can at least gravitate towards characters where I can like feel attached to the campaign in some capacity through them. And in this one, like I really don't have a huge idea what's going on. I have some idea, right? Like, but I also don't care. And there's one twist that's like so fucking predictable. Maybe it's kind of tropey. Like it's like you're kind of supposed to know, because they kind of sell you on in the opening with like the game opens with "Don't trust anyone."
Right.
And it's like, all right, well they kind of telegraph something pretty on the nose. I don't know. I'm kind of losing the plot here. Sorry, Dan.
No, you're good. I agree with most of what you guys are saying. So I think that the main difference is like I'm enjoying just the gameplay aspect of the campaign, and I'm enjoying. I think the one difference is I'm personally enjoying, or I already finished it. Enjoyed the overarching story of the campaign. I think the writing is absolutely bad. I agree, Gage. We talked about that. I think that there's no interaction in the campaign, which does not lead to any character development. I completely agree with that as well, Christian. And I think the biggest issue with that is they don't make you care about the main character that you're playing as enough as you should, for one. And for two, there's not like a companion character that, you know, for the Black Ops games, you have Woods and Mason together all the time. And in this, you're kind of with someone different every mission, and you don't really get connected to any of the characters that much. I would say the Emergence mission tried to connect the player to the character that you're playing as. Right. But in my opinion, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit there, because I thought that they were going to take it down one path, and then they ended up just not taking it down that path at all. And they just kind of said, oh yeah, you were just a test shit, I forgot I was going to spoil anything. But anyways, they didn't take it down the path that I was expecting them to take it down, and it didn't really resonate that much with me. I loved the mission, but like it didn't make me connect to my character at all. So I agree with all of that you guys said. And in terms of the mission structure, like, yes, Call of Duty is normally filled with like linear, overly actiony experiences, and I do miss a little bit of that. But like at the same time, like I don't miss it because like I enjoy that Treyarch was kind of experimenting a little bit with this and kind of seeing, you know, this is a different mission than this one, and this one's different than this one. Like, to me, there was quite a few missions in this campaign, gameplay-wise, that did not feel the same as each other, which to me was exciting because it didn't feel like I was just sitting there watching, big sequence after big sequence just happen on the screen.
Yeah, the problem with that is that, like, tone and atmosphere is so important. And, like, I agree with you, like, with all of our complaints of the Iraq mission, the Emergence mission was very much the antithesis of that, where it's like it didn't feel boring, it didn't feel repetitive, it did feel fresh, and it was very much a similar concept. But like I think when I think of like even if we just wanted to make it as short as the past 5 years, a lot of those not only linear missions, but even some of the smaller missions are the one that stand out. Like in Modern Warfare 2019, there's a mission called Clean House, I think it's called Clean House or Safe House. Yes, I think we're thinking of the same one where you're when you really think about that, even for a Call of Duty mission, like it's incredibly small. It is incredibly claustrophobic. You can't move around freely. You're stuck in formation. And I think there's only like 5 or 6 bad guys that you shoot. Like you go through that entire mission, and if you keep your gun on single shot as the mission starts out on, you only use like half a mag in the entire mission. But because it's so slow and so tense, and you're hearing these tier 1 operators throughout this jargon that you don't really know what it means, but you can kind of infer, and like they're checking doors and they're doing all this stuff. That mission, I think about that mission a lot. Like that was a really, really great mission. And again, atmosphere, art direction, it was everything was white and gray with the night visions on, and you took them off and everything's dark. And it has like this nice sort of crescendo moment at the end with a little bit of emotional thing that happens in the attic. It's that is the opposite of what we're talking about, where the execution was just fucking perfect on that. The concept was great and the execution. And I don't know that we'll get that. I don't know that we'll get that again, because it's like, I don't know. I was surprised that we even got that with how much the campaigns had kind of been neutered in the years leading up to that. I think Black Ops 4 didn't even have one, or Black Ops 3. I don't know. One of the games, I think a couple of the games didn't have campaigns, and then we got that, and I was like, oh shit, we're totally back.
Can I say?
Yes, please.
This is the reason why I didn't like the Emergence mission as much, because nothing in the earlier missions had made me really feel like a Black Ops soldier the way the earlier Black Ops game had, because of like the way they approach tone with their mission structure.
Right.
Whereas when we get to Emergence and it changes throughout the level, when you enter the level and it's the 4 different areas, I'm like, this is the farthest away from what I wanted out of this campaign now. I like, you know what I mean? When I was playing the Iraq mission, it's like, I almost forgot it was set in the fucking 90s, because it literally does not matter what I'm playing. It felt like a war zone. It felt like a Modern Warfare 3.
I think the Emergence would have worked even better if you were playing as a character that you like Dan had mentioned. If you were playing as a character who had stakes and you had known a little bit about their backstory already, like if you were playing that, this the whole game would have to be different, but this is like hypothetical now. If you were playing that mission as Mason, right, with all the shit that he's got going on in his head and all the fucked up stuff that he went through, and then this stuff is kind of happening to you and you're trying to guess what's real and what's not, that would have worked a lot better. But Christian, you're so right. This feels, a lot of these missions that I've played felt like they were riffing in the conference room, and as soon as they came up with something that they thought was a good idea, it's like, cool, let's do that, as opposed to no, stay in the conference room for a couple more days and really refine it and then go do it.
Sure. What you're saying, Gage, is almost exactly what I was thinking and hoping that Emergence was going to reveal, was that, well, all right, stop listening right now if you don't want any spoilers, seriously, because I'm about to But I was hoping that your character was actually going to be Alex Mason, whatever,
Yeah,
Alex Mason. And the whole campaign, you don't even realize that it is him, and you learn about, Case Zero. His name, I think it was Case Zero. His nickname was Case, but I
think Case One
or Case One, whatever. Case Zero, Case One, whatever. He was the first case or whatever. So I was thinking they were doing like some experimentation with like cloning or something like that, where he is like essentially a clone of Alex Mason, and you as the player don't realize it until that moment, and then you're like, oh fuck, this is Alex Mason. But then I realized it didn't make sense because Woods would know what Alex Mason looks like.
I was thinking that it's funny that you mentioned earlier when you were talking about it that it seemed like they set themselves up for something and then they didn't do that. I don't know if that's exactly what you're talking about, but I was expecting something similar where I was like, oh, they're setting it up for like he's going through this thing and he's going to get reactivated. He's like a Russian sleeper agent, right? And he's going to accidentally reactivate himself by all the shit he's going through here. But again, I was playing it and I was getting excited and I was trying to think like when you're watching a really good movie and you're like, oh, they're planting the seeds for this. And then, like you said, they kind of just didn't. They just were like, no, that's just a cool moment, and now we move on to the next thing. It's like, all right, I guess.
I appreciate the swing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
For sure. But like, in the context of the whole campaign, I mean, final thoughts to be reserved, right? I still have a 40% of the campaign to go through. I don't feel the sauce anymore. I opened up a random mission on Black Ops 1, and it was WMD. And remember that mission starts off with the fucking... When you're launching into space in the SR-71 Blackbird, and you're controlling the pilot for a while, and you're like scanning enemies, and you switch down to the ground, and it's the fucking Black Ops soldiers in the mountains, and they rappel down, and they break through the Soviet base through the windows, and you're shooting the AUG, and then you go through the whole mission, and the mission ends with you running off a mountain and fucking skydiving. It's like, dude, that has fucking sauce. That felt like a fucking Black Ops mission. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a fucking an elite soldier. The closest I felt it so far is like my camera has a little doohickey for me to like zoom in, and now I can tag enemies if I stay there for a couple of seconds.
Right. And even stuff like going back to Black Ops 1, which is my personal favorite. Spoilers, I guess, for Black Ops 1, even though it's been 15 years. Even cool stuff with that game for its time, where I remember it had a fake out ending where it goes through the last mission, but then there's two missions or one mission after that where it's like something about like you're storming this facility, and like Reznov throws somebody into a chair and he's threatening them with a gun, and he's doing this big speech, and you're playing as Mason and you're watching Reznov threaten this guy in a gun in a chair. And then again, it seems like that's the end of the game. And then you play that mission again as Hudson, and you get to that other side of the glass, and you realize that it's not Reznov, it's Mason who's got somebody in a chair, and he's talking as if he's like, it just, the whole game, like you're talking about having sauce, like it just builds to this awesome crescendo. And I haven't finished this campaign. Maybe this campaign pulls off something similar. It sounds like it doesn't really.
No, it doesn't.
it seems like they need more refinement. And I want to just reiterate what Dan and I were talking about off air. I think maybe we were talking about it that night. But playing this campaign, if anything, just makes me wish for Treyarch to get 4 years of only doing a campaign, of doing a single player 15 to 20 hour like game where they don't have to reuse assets from multiplayer. They don't have to reuse assets from zombies. Like, there's enough here. I agree with you, Christian. This game is very sauceless, I think, with the exception of like the one mission that I enjoyed. Very sauceless. But like, there's notes there where it's like, man, if they were given 4 or 5 years of just making a 15-hour single player game, that is it. I think they could really do something special with that.
All right, we should probably move on because Gage is gonna be late.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Gage does not have a timeline tonight.
Oh,
Gage is good.
Oh, never mind.
Yes.
Continue.
Oh, that's it. I'd love to see Treyarch stretch their legs and not. And actually, like I was talking about earlier, with the resources that I'm confidently assuming that C-suite does not want to give them for a campaign. That could also bleed into what you were saying, Christian, about how a lot of this stuff feels like it was just riffed up. I mean, they're probably on a deadline. There's probably only so much time they're allowed to allocate towards campaign. So back to my thing, it's like it would be cool to see if they had room to stretch their legs, what they could really come up with.
Man, can you believe that Warzone 2020 did this to Black Ops 6?
That's true, actually. I mean, took a lot of resources away from campaign to go to Warzone.
It's a moneymaker, man.
True.
Yep.
That's how it be. All right. Any other Black Ops 6 before we?
Are we gonna play zombies at some point?
Oh, zombies is so.
We're gonna play zombies as soon as we're done the podcast.
No, I gotta fucking eat, dude. I gotta make dinner.
Zombies.
I wish.
A lot of fun. Okay, so what else has Dan been playing? Dan played Alan Wake 2 Night Springs.
I thought this was Tots for a second. I'm not gonna lie. I totally forgot what you got for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I played Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC, and man, that shit's fucking insane. I think after there's 3 episodes. After every single episode, I texted Christian, what the fuck is this? It's like Alan Wake 2 is already fucking crazy at certain moments of the campaign, but like this is just like almost nonstop. What in the fuck am I playing here? It's partially why I love it. I mean, I
remember being out, having a little drink, and then looking down, just seeing you just finish this mission. What the fuck? And letting out a little giggle at the bar.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I'm very excited to play the Lake House DLC. I have not started it yet.
It's good.
Awesome, and I think that will be more my speed based on what you're saying. Like it'll be.
I think so, and it's not long either.
Hell yeah. And one other announcement. On Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be streaming for the first time in I don't know how long, Halo Infinite until I reach hero rank. We're going to do it. We're going to do it on the live stream. It's going to be fun. I'm almost there.
What day is this?
It's going to be Friday.
Friday.
30
minutes after you go, 30 minutes in, you'll finally be launching the game after fixing all your settings, and then the servers are going to go down for maintenance.
What? All my settings are already set. I'm locked in.
Locked in.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be cool. I'll get my Master Chief armor.
Wow.
Yep. All right. Christian, what you got for me?
Black Ops and Fast Food Simulator.
Oh, I forgot.
Actually, that's not true. I actually played a little bit of Metaphor as well on Steam Deck, and people are right. The opening hours of that game, very generic. But I heard you have to beat the intro, and then the game like opens up and gets like super interesting. In the beginning, it's like really handholdy. But yeah, Fast Food Simulator, man, that's the one. That was that game is so fucking silly awesome.
Silly awesome. If you want to work in fucking fast food, play this game.
Here's the problem with Fast Food Simulator. And I'm just gonna say this. Besides Black Ops 6, which I've already talked about, Fast Food Simulator is the only other thing. So I'll just jump in here. I see what you were saying, Dan, with your criticism, where it's like there's not a lot of game to this game. It's just kind of like coded very straight, very much like do this and then do this thing, and then this will result in you completing this thing. And I get that. But like I think what's so fun about playing a game like this, I don't know, I just need this we need to walk before we run. Games like this have to do well until somebody gets the idea to take this kind of game and put it into a more exciting environment. Like, if you were going through the motions that you're doing, except the 3 of us were on like a spaceship and we were refueling and re-armoring and like had to keep our shields up and stuff like that. Like, take this exact same gameplay format and put it into a more gamey atmosphere, and I think it would be fucking bananas. It would be awesome. But that doesn't exist now, so we gotta stick with Fast Food Simulator, where you're just building burgers.
If we're a fucking crew and like someone's in the engine room like fixing things, and someone's like piloting through fucking asteroids, we got asteroids coming up, get the shields up, whatever, and now we're like redirecting shields like that. That's interesting. Somebody better than us should make that.
Right. You get if your shields take too much damage, somebody's got to go run down to the shield generator and take a cell out and put a cell back in and stuff like that. Exactly. That'd be so cool. But instead we're doing double patties, triple ketchup, mustard.
Hold on though, cuz listen, man. It's low stakes, gauges on the grill. Dan shouted me like, I need a double with ketchup and mayo, whatever. And like, I got my screen up. I'm looking, I'm wrapped like, oh fuck, I wrapped the wrong burger. It's its own kind of fun.
I'm shouting at the customers for, leaving early. And you know what?
Sorry, go ahead.
You know what they should do? They should just basically use this game to control robots, and we make money. And it's real robots in real restaurants that are serving it, but we're controlling them.
I was thinking of some weird Truman Show type situation where I was like, "There's another world right there where these people exist, and we're just working for free for them. And they're coming in and getting their burgers."
Yeah,
because it does feel like you're just clocking into work. But at the same time, Christian, you are right, because like it is kind of fun. It's a group vibes type thing where it's like you would never play this game by yourself. There's not enough game there to actually justify it, but when you got 3 people that are half caring about what you're doing, Dan's barking orders at us, you're trying to make the burgers, I'm doing the patties and reloading your burger trays so that you've got patties to make the things, like you get into a nice little flow and you're just vibing. You're just vibing.
You gotta refill the ketchup in the bottles.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say too. I think there is something actually to genuinely compliment this game here, which is that it uses a lot of gridless placement system that works surprisingly well. You can pick up trays that can be set down anywhere at any angle, and you can also put any object on those trays, and they stay on those trays exactly where you put them as you like. There's a lot of small stuff with the coding and how it works that I think is actually a little bit impressive with just how reliable it is, because the game looks a lot jankier than it actually behaves, if that makes sense, when I was playing it. So because everything works exactly as you think it would, I feel like that elevates the gameplay somehow. I don't know. I was having fun with this, man. I actually can't wait to jump back into it.
That's damn straight.
Somebody pay us minimum wage. We'll open up our own restaurant.
That's what I was asking about teleoperators. I think I asked about that while we were playing. Maybe that's why I was thinking about it too, but yeah.
Elon Musk is gonna make us control his dumbass robots that are supposedly AI, but they're not.
But they're not at all.
Yeah.
USA.
USA.
Oh.
Incredible. All right. Anything else before we close out the show, guys?
Black Ops.
Black Ops is the future of gaming.
This is the last chance I have to do it, so I'm going to do it on air. 100% critic score, 98% audience score.
Oh, Arcane?
Yep.
Oh. There's no way, right?
Remember that.
What was season 1?
Season 1 right now has 100% critic score, 96% audience score.
Really? Wow. Holy shit.
I think it's the highest rated thing that Netflix has on its platform.
I did not realize.
And the most expensive, apparently. I thought it was in a Cinebros chat, but it was you who sent that to PXN.
Yep.
Most expensive animated show ever made.
Wow.
I'm going to guess 98% audience score.
Okay.
For season 2.
We'll have to see if that happens. Is that Saturday?
Next week. That is this weekend. I cannot wait.
That's Friday.
I gotta subscribe to Netflix. Fuck.
It'll be during your stream. is when it airs.
No, it'll be 3 a.m. Eastern.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
3 a.m. Eastern. Yep.
12 Friday for you, but 3 a.m. Saturday for us.
Yeah, it shouldn't take me 7 hours to hit hero rank. I hope not, anyways. All right.
Hey, wait, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
How are you gonna celebrate? Are you gonna like order food or get a little drink or some like dessert?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You should get some. You should buy some.
You need to go to Kroger's and get yourself a 6-pack of Mike Hard lemonade.
That's not. That's against terms of service, right? Or is it?
You should do that, but don't drink it on stream.
Yes.
One, but also do that when you finish, and then with the lads. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But also treat yourself to some food to like celebrate.
All right. Been a long grind. Twitch.tv/podcast. No, Dan is DTM. I'm so used to saying Podcast PXN. Dan is DTM. Check it out.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you again to everyone joining us live and on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Yubu. I don't know what that means. YouTube Music, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Ro, who is not here. We'll see you back here maybe next week, Ro. Christian, thank you as well. Gage, thank you as well. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See you, as Rose likes to say.